Hey y'all, this is my review for episodes 10 through 12 of Celebrity Big Brother Season 3. The last episode we left off was Team Cynthia and Carson, going against their own ally Shanna and voting her ass out the house. So episode 10 opens and Carson and Cynthia, they think they did the right thing. And if they only knew how stupid the entire audience thinks they are. Like, they came to play an honest game of integrity, and they ain't worried about winning, clearly. We even see Misha and Todrick in their confessional saying, I can't believe that plan worked. We got them to vote out their own ally. Like, I can't believe it either. I mean, like, they're annoying as F, but they're playing the damn game, and playing it well. I gotta admit, and y'all know I don't care for Todrick. Meanwhile, you have Lamar telling Todd Bridges that Misha and Todrick need to be the ones on the chopping block next. And I think Todd Bridges still think he has like an alliance with Misha and Todrick, so I don't think he's going to do that yet. But look at Lamar now trying to finally play the game. But with that said, he's still not smart because he tells Misha directly that he was thinking about voting her out when he was deciding between Misha and Shannon. I mean, at least it was direct and honest of him to tell her that, he was thinking about voting her out. I still don't think it was smart though. And of course she feels some type of way about it. She's like, oh, just let me get up before I say something. Oh girl, shut the F up. Oh, I wish I could say the F word right now, but I can't because YouTube, they be going at us black creators a lot. Like the littlest things we do, they want to take our page down. And on Black History Month, ugh. So later on, we see Cynthia and Carson talking to Todrick and Misha, making a deal with them because the head of household game is coming up next. And they're saying that whoever wins between them, like their deal is we'll make each other safe and we'll be like a final four. That's what Carson and Cynthia are trying to do. But Misha and Todrick have their own plans. But they do shake on the deal. So that means one of the three of them, Cynthia, Todrick, or Misha, have to win this game. So now we're at the head of household game, and it is a bartending game. I was like, oh, look at this. I would be so good at this. You just taste the ingredients. But what I didn't realize was they are playing right now. They're using like ingredients like sauerkraut, anchovies, potatoes, and other shit like that. Like stuff that's not even supposed to be in drinks, especially alcoholic. And then they're behind bars and there's no alcohol in it. I bet you Lamar, like he's the reason why they couldn't use real alcohol. I'm just kidding. I don't even know if he's an alcoholic, and I think he was drinking champagne along with the rest of them. But why couldn't they just use real alcohol instead of just playing and making them like drink Fear Factor drinks? I would have quit because that's one thing. Like, I don't like eating nasty shit. I'm a texture person. I think I would have gave up, even though like I'm really good at like tasting out ingredients in drinks. But it needs to be normal ass ingredients. So shockingly, we see that Todd Bridges, of all people, are in the lead right now, and he is annoying as hell with that, yeah! He says it every single time he gets one right, and I think he got all 4 or 5 correct. After he got the 4th one right, I was like, is this some production manipulele going on so they can like throw a wrench in the other players' plans? Misha, Todrick, and Cynthia did not foresee this, and it looks like Todd Bridges is going to be the next head of household. Yep, and after the 5th correct guess in the row, Todd Bridges is officially the head of household, blowing up Cynthia and Carson's plans, and I bet y'all feel stupid now. Like, I just cannot believe they were that easily manipulated into getting Shanna out. Like, they are crazy. I still don't understand that. Like, I'm so angry about that, y'all. And in addition to Todd winning head of household, he also gets to pick 2 house guests to be mascots for a drink, and I'm really not sure what that means. So later on, we're with Misha and Todrick, and they scheming, of course, and look at that. They're saying, well, since we didn't win head of household, that means we don't have to honor our deal with them. And, Todd is on Misha's team, so they both know that they're safe. And now they're going to try to get him to put Cynthia and Carson on the block. Now look at that shit. But what Shanna was doing was dishonest and backstabbing and shady. But they've been playing both sides the entire competition. I will say Todd is a real wild card. Like, he can really blow up the house if he wanted to, but I think he's gonna play a sure thing and like butter up to Misha and Todrick because they're the strongest players in the house. Lord, so they get back to this mascot thing, and it's an entire stunt, maybe like for filler for this episode. So Todd chooses Todrick and Lamar to be mascots for his drink or whatever. So they have to put on a humiliating costume as well as handcuff themselves to each other, and they literally have to keep this on for 24 hours, whether it be like both of them are in the same room, they're sleeping together, they have to go to the bathroom with this thing on. I'm pretty sure maybe showering too. I'm thinking Todrick doesn't mind this because he has a crush on Lamar because he fetishizes black men. He doesn't date them, of course, if y'all are familiar with Todrick. Next we see Todd talking to Lamar and Todrick and discussing who he's going to put up on the chopping block for elimination. And then Todrick is telling him that he should put Carson and Cynthia up on the block. And at this moment, I know Shanna is at home screaming at her TV right now. Honestly, Todd pretty much shares his plan with everybody. He's putting Carson on the block. He's the one that he wants to go home. And Todrick and Misha don't have no problem with that. He also says that if Carson tries to save himself with the veto, he's just going to put his teammate Cynthia up. Meaning that either Cynthia or Carson are going to go home on this episode. But they do have a chance, Cynthia and Carson. That's if Cynthia wins the power of veto and saves Carson, and then the both of them won't be able to be nominated, and it would have to be either Todrick or Misha. But Cynthia, I don't think she wins anything. It's going to be a pretty slim chance for Cynthia to win, and I think Todd knew this as well. So now we're at the nominations, and Todd Bridges chooses Carson as well as Lamar, with Lamar being the pawn because Carson is the real target. And that is where episode 10 ends. So episode 11 starts out with Carson acknowledging that he's been up on the block 3 times. I mean, I guess he's definitely a threat because he's just so personable and likable. But I mean, Carson, you did this to yourself. Misha was gunning for you. You should have known Todd, Misha, and Todrick are all in like an alliance together. Like, you just played stupid. And child, if Lamar Odom makes one more basketball reference, like he doesn't even know how Big Brother works. Shut up. I'm tired of him talking about Chloe, and I'm tired of him making a basketball reference to a game he does not know how to play. Also, I'm guessing this Todd Bridges and Cynthia beef is over. Maybe they like apologize to each other off camera, because I would have expected him, of all people, to vote Cynthia off, but I think he's aware that he doesn't want to be dragged on social media, especially for coming after a woman. I'm guessing they must have hashed it out peacefully, because it's like it never happened. Like, he literally threatened her, like, outside the house. That's why I'm just so curious, like, how did Cynthia just let that go? Like, I've seen her mad at other housewives on her season longer. We also see that Lamar and Todrick are still handcuffed to each other for this 24 hours. Fast forward, all that is filler. And now we are at the veto game. And this is a shuffle game. And I gotta tell y'all, this shit was hard. I thought it was fun that they made it so that the viewers can participate at home, but that shit was like going around. At one point, the little figure jumped into a different vehicle and it was shuffling around, like using flashing lights. This was just gonna be a random game. It could be anybody's game. And would you look at that, Todd is winning again. He finally showed up to play. Like, I think he got maybe 3 in a row. Again, this shit is hard, and Todd finally misses a question. So that means Cynthia actually has a chance to win, and as we know, she needs to win this to save both her and Carson. But then you have Todrick and Misha also with a good chance of winning. Lord, so now it's round 7, and Cynthia has failed. There's no chance for her to win the power of veto. She's disappointed she can't save Carson now. And then we see that it is between Misha, Todrick, and Todd Bridges. And then in the final round, Misha's hard-faced ass wins. Of course. And we know that she's not going to get Carson off the block. Now, after this game, it's just a lot of filler in the episode. Fast forward, of course. And then we see Cynthia and Carson trying to scheme and come up with a plan. But I think at this point, it's futile. So then the veto announcement time comes, and Misha lets all them know that she's gonna leave the nominations the same. Like we all knew she would, because she is gung-ho on getting Carson out the house. I think this is her, like, what, third or fourth time, like, trying to get him out? And it looks like she's gonna succeed finally. So then they decide to take a break from the house guests, and Julie Chen is interviewing Jerry O'Connell. Why? Why is television and daytime trying to just shove Jerry O'Connell down our throats? The privilege of it all, the white privilege, and on Black History Month, like, I am tired of seeing him. Like, he did not work as a replacement for Wendy Williams. That failed miserably. And then they added him on the talk for some reason. Like, who is doing this? Like, his manager definitely deserves a muffin basket, but Jesus, I'm tired of seeing him. I don't care what he has to say. I don't care that he knows everybody in the house. I don't care that he wants to be on there. Fast the fuck forward. So now we're with Cynthia and Carson, and they're going to try to make a last-ditch effort to talk to Todrick. Their plan is, if Todrick just votes along with Cynthia, then that's the majority vote and Carson gets to stay. What they don't know is that Todrick has been scheming to get Carson out the entire time. So I doubt they change his mind. So right after he talks to them, he goes report to his boss, Misha. And when he's talking to her, like, for some reason, he's like painting her face or drawing on it for some strange reason. Like, this man loves to align himself with a white woman. Like, it empowers him, it feels like. Of course, Misha, like, she does not want Carson in the house. He checked with her if that's what she wanted him to do, and, you know, maybe they can all do like a final four to the end. But I'm thinking they're going to vote Carson out. Like, they've been trying to do it this long, they're going to succeed doing it. Because they know that if they go up against him in the final two, they're both going to lose. So I get the strategy. It really is crazy that Todrick has the deciding vote. So it's elimination time, and Carson is done. Like, Todrick, he voted for Carson. He didn't want to upset, you know, his lord and master Misha. And it's a wrap after all that. I mean, he deserved to go home. He got rid of his own ally. Like, they had 3 against 2. Like, seriously. Like, Carson did it to himself. That's all I gotta say on that. So then he leaves the house and he hugs everybody. It's no shade. You know, he was a good sport about it. So then he gets to be interviewed by Julie Chen. And of course, she brings up what we all been talking about on social media, because he isn't aware, that you realize that you sent your own ally home. And then he said, yeah, well, I realized it after the fact, like earlier today. Yeah. You fucked up. He also says he's going to go back and watch it, because I think all the players are required to, because they get to vote on the winner in the end. And I'm really curious of his reaction, you know, of seeing how much Todrick has schemed, because that was his friend, or at least his co-worker. He did let Julie know that, you know, when he watches it back, if he sees anything extra, he might be surprised and a little angry about it. And I can't imagine Carson being angry at all. I can see him being real shady, but not like outright mean. But we'll see on the finale day. So now we're back in the house, and I just realized we have 4 black people out of the final 5. Well, there's 3 black people in Todrick, but y'all know what I mean. It's nice to see, I guess. And also the final 5 get to have messages from all their loved ones, and we see it individually. The only thing I'm gonna go over is Cynthia. Of course, it's Mike talking to her, and I didn't realize that Cynthia has to spend her birthday in the house. Like, she's born on February 19th. So I'm really curious, did they vote her out on her birthday? That would be some savagery right there. And that is the end of episode 11. So now we're at episode 12, and nobody filled me in that this would be a fucking clip show. So there's going to be a lot of fast forwarding on my part, y'all. Like, I cannot believe they wasted our time with a filler episode. Really? I mean, y'all could have just brought back another house guest since, Chris Kattan willingly forfeit. So we're still at present day, like right after they got Carson out the house, and they all recognize that it's been 24 days in the house. That is a long ass time to be in a confined place with strangers with no communication to the outside world. That's a long ass time. And I can only imagine how that can fuck with your headspace. So as they're reminiscing, production is just adding in old clips. I'm not sure if they acted this whole thing out, but I'm gonna just go over a few clips that stood out to me. The first one was Todd not remembering Cynthia's name after day 2. And Cynthia was just like such a big fan of Todd Bridges because she's in that age range. She's like Generation X, I believe. She's like 51, 52. And she said she's talked to him for like a whole day. And after day 2, he still didn't know her name. And it's something because later on down the line, they were like fussing and arguing and cursing at each other, saying, oh yeah, fuck you too. I mean, I guess they're on good terms now, so it don't matter. So this next clip they show is the most important one of the entire episode, and a lot of people have been talking about this on Twitter. It's been a lot of Todrick backlash. It's a fight that he had with Chris Kirkpatrick that didn't air in real time, and I'm just wondering how come they didn't leave that in? We see that he confronted Chris Kirkpatrick when he found out that Chris was gunning for him. He said that he felt backstabbed, and I'm like, hold up, time out. Todrick backstabbed almost everybody in this house. He was playing in 3 or 4 different alliances, and then we saw that he was scheming against Chris Kirkpatrick, and I think somebody went back to Chris. I think it was maybe Shanna. So then that's why he was gunning for Todrick, and I'm guessing Todrick got wind of that. Like, he is really laying into Chris and also gaslighting him, and it looks like Chris don't want no smoke with Todrick, surprisingly. And he's just saying, well, I'm sorry. I mean, I heard it from somebody. And he was like, well, you could have just came to me. But now I hear that you're going behind my back, and I don't like you now. And I'm thinking, it's just a game. Really? Like, it's strategy. But yeah, he's just going off on him saying, I don't like you. I never want to see you again outside of this. Todrick, you're going to have to get votes outside the house, right? And I'm thinking at least 5 people ain't gonna vote for you. I just can't believe he has the gall to say he feels backstabbed. And then the final thing he said to Chris that I think was just the most foul was he brought up his son, saying that, I hope your son doesn't see this because he'll be disappointed in you. And that's where Chris was like, okay, hold up, don't bring up my son in this. And luckily for Todrick, he walked out immediately after he said that. And then Chris, he knew he was going home at that point, and he didn't want to exacerbate the situation. Look, if Todrick came at me like that, it would have been a problem. But I'm glad they showed the real Todrick Hall, like the fake, phony, shady-ass, conniving bastard he is. Please let me know in the comments whose side y'all on in that situation, because I just thought that was really, really foul that he brought up his kid during an argument about a fucking game. So then fast forward, the next clip we see is like a montage of Lamar not knowing how the Big Brother game works. Like, he is completely clueless how to play the game. We see him asking people, like, days into being into the house, how this game works. At one point, he didn't even know who Julie Chen was. Like, why is he here? He is here for the check. Clearly. When he did not know who Julie Chen was, I almost fell out my chair. And watch he win this fucking game in the end. Because I can totally see it happening. Because if he's in the final 2 between Misha as well as Todrick, I can see him winning. Easily. Child, we are 37 minutes in and they still reminiscing. They are not moving the plot forward at all. I don't think we're going to have a head of household or elimination on this episode. Oh my God. And then the next clip, we see that Chris was using gloves that Cynthia was using to clean the bathroom, and he's using it to clean the sink. Oh my God. And the way Lamar and Cynthia was just going off on him, they were just like, oh Lord, good Lord, no. That was a funny scene, I gotta admit. And then afterward, we see another montage of when Todrick has been flirting with Lamar constantly. And at some point, you see Lamar flirting back with Todrick. Oh, but anywho, y'all, there is 5 minutes left in this, and it looks like they ain't about to give us nothing. They wasted our goddamn time with a fucking clip show. I cannot believe that. And that's the end of the episode. Who y'all think going home next? You know, I think it's going to be Todd is next, and then the final four, Cynthia's going to leave, and then the final three is going to be Lamar, Misha, and Todrick. And I think Lamar might be in the final two with Misha and Todrick, and then Lamar is going to win because he's going to get the most votes from the eliminated house guests. So that's just my theory on it. Let me know in the comments who y'all think is going to win, who y'all think is going to go home next. Oh, and also, they have a little extra thing called America's House Guests, where it's like the fan favorite, and they get $25,000. I'm thinking, I think it's either going to be Carson, definitely, or Shanna, because still, it's justice for Shanna. She got screwed so bad in that house for no reason. So I think it's going to be out of those two for America's House Guests. But anywho, y'all, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.